Okay, so this is the next lesson on multiplying variables, building on what we did last lesson, where we multiplied different variables by each other, and sometimes we had numbers thrown in there as well, and we were following 3 steps. We were making sure that we took out our multiplication symbols, we made sure that our number was always at the beginning, and then we made sure that the letters, the variables, were in alphabetical order. We're going to be doing something similar today, but first we're going to copy these examples into our book. We're going to remind ourselves that when we multiply something by itself, that means we are squaring it. So 6 multiplied by 6 is identical to, I'm using my identity symbol again, 6 squared. This is exactly the same for variables. If I multiply a variable by itself, I am squaring it. So g multiplied by g is g squared. Okay? So if I have j, which we would never write because remember, algebra is about being quick and simple. And it's much quicker and simple to write j squared than jj, or j times j. So we would never write this. We would never write gg, for example. We'd just put g squared. So this next example is 4 multiplied by j multiplied by j. We now have to keep in mind the rule about keeping our number first. So we remove multiplication symbols, make sure the number is first, make sure our letters are in order. This one, we've got the same letter twice, so we're going to have 4j squared. Next one, we have u multiplied by 5 multiplied by u. So we're going to be doing step 1, remove multiplication symbols. Step 2, make sure our number is first, so that 5 needs to go first. Step 3, letters in alphabetical order. And I guess there's a step 4 then, a last step, that if we have the letter repeated, then we're going to square it. So here we have 5u squared. There was no need to put anything in order here, alphabetical order. We have a few more examples, so make sure you get those ones written down and the next ones. So continuing on, here I've got tt multiplied by 3. We would never ever write tt, but this is just an example. We're going to remove multiplication symbols, step 1. We're going to have our number first, which is step 2. Letters in order, step 3. Any repeated variables, we need to have them squared. So we would have 3t squared. This one, we have to remove multiplication symbols. We have to have our number first. Letters in alphabetical order, and any repeated letters we need to show by squaring. So we would have 3e squared. Next one, little bit different, but not too much harder. We're going to do step 1, remove multiplication symbols. We're going to do step 2, make sure that number is first. We're going to do step 3, have our letters in alphabetical order. And we're going to do the last step, which is show any repeated variables, but this time it won't be squared, will it? Because we've got m multiplied by itself 3 times. So we won't have m squared, we're going to have m cubed, and I've made sure that my 6 is first. And our last example, we have p multiplied by 5p multiplied by p. Step 1, remove multiplication symbols. Step 2, number first. So that 5 needs to be brought to the front. Step 3, letters in alphabetical order. Well, that doesn't apply to this question because we have 3 of the same letter. But we need to show that with our indices, with our powers, squareds or cubes. And if we had 4, we would have to the power of 4. But this one is going to be 5p cubed. So, some practice questions are going to come up here. I want you to have a go at these in your book. There's an example up here to remind you if you forget how to do this. But just remember those steps that we went through. Pause the video and have a go at these. Okay, so just to go through the answers, we should have 6y squared, 7p squared, 11e cubed, and 4t cubed.